Hello children, it's Tata Lola again. Today I am sitting on jambiya, and jambiya means a little mattress that they used to do in the old days. They stuff it with whatever leftovers from fabrics and materials and dresses, and they make a mattress out of it, and they sit on it and sleep on it. And I asked the children today to put my jambiya here so I can sit on the floor and be comfortable. Next to my bakraj. And bakraj is a pot of coffee. We put Arabic coffee inside it and it stays warm. We open and pour the coffee inside and we close it. And these are the special coffee cups that we use. We pour the coffee inside and then we drink it. And the reason why I'm drinking coffee today is because I want to stay awake. I have prepared a beautiful story for you and I hope you'll enjoy it. And I will start my story by saying كان يا مكان في قديم الزمان. There was a man. His name is Asfur, and Asfur means a tiny little bird. He married a woman, a smart woman. Her name is Jarada. And the Jarada is another bird. It's a name of another bird, but it's an insect. And this little insect flies just like a bird, but it's not a bird. And they married each other and they have children, and the firstborn, his name was Omar. So they started naming themselves Abu Omar and Omar, which means Omar's father and Omar's mother. So Abu Omar and Omar lived in a tiny little house in the village. They were very poor because Abu Omar was lazy and he didn't want to do a proper job that will generate a proper income. And his wife was really angry. She kept telling him, "Come on, lazy man, do something. You have to earn. Your children are hungry. Look at our house. We're living a very poor life. Do something." And Abu Omar will just sit there wondering what to do. "I am not good at anything. I'm good for nothing, my dear wife." She said to him one day, "Abu Omar, I have a good idea for you. It doesn't require knowledge. I know you can't write and read and you can't even do basic math, but this job is easy. All you have to do is trick people and make him believe that you are a fortune teller." And he said, "Magic? Do you want me to be a magician?" She said, "Oh, nobody knows. All you have to do when people come to you with a problem is comfort them. Tell them that the future will be nice and problem will be solved. Say some nice words to them and they will relax and be happy and give you money." And he said, "Oh, okay, I can do that." So he dressed up like a fortune teller with a little bit of candles around and burning some incense and wearing a special hat. And they announced in the village that Abu Omar is a fortune reader. He can tell the future. So people started lining up and they give him money and he just says whatever he wants to say and they believe him because he was a lucky man. Every time he would say something, it happens. And people started believing that Abu Omar is the best fortune teller that they've ever seen. And then he became famous. And one day, somebody was talking about him in front of the Sultan. And the Sultan said to his wazir, and the wazir is the second highest status after the Sultan. So he is the right arm of the Sultan. he said to the wazir, I want to ask Abu Omar to help us. You know the 40 thieves? They stole every house in town. And my army and all my soldiers, nobody was able ever to know who they are or how they do it. Maybe Abu Omar, with his magic, can help us. And the wazir said, Sultan, are you out of your mind? This man is a con artist. He's not real. He's just telling lies to people, and people believe him because they want to believe. You're an educated man. How would you believe something like this? And the Sultan said, it doesn't hurt to try. And the wazir said, no. I'll tell you something. Why don't we dress up like normal people so nobody would know that we are the Sultan and his wazir, and then we go near his house and start spying on him and see what does he do. Maybe he's just a big lie. And the Sultan said, I like your idea. We'll do it. So the second day, the Sultan and the wazir, they dressed up like common people, and they went to the building next door to Abu Omar's house. On the roof, there's a balcony on the roof. They sat there and they started watching what's happening at Abu Omar's backyard. Omar was cooking a nice meal for Abu Omar and the children. And this meal is called bisara. Bisara is the poor people food. They make it from dry leaves of a plant called mlukhia. And the way they do bisara, it seems like witchcraft, because she has to take the dry leaf and she has to do this until they become like a powder, and then put them in the sifter and sift it so the stuff that she doesn't want it to be in the food, like the dry stems and the rubbish that comes with it, goes away. And the way she does that is she holds the sifter and blow. So all the tiny little dusty and little dry stems that they look like hay, they all fly away, and only the good stuff, the dried green leaf, stays. And she had a big pot on some wood, and she was stirring it, cooking, boiling the meat in it. And the way she does everything, it's like a witch making a witchcraft, making a magic potion. And the Sultan was looking really amazed. What are they preparing? Maybe it's a special serum that, makes people younger or whatever. When she finished her meal, cooking her meal, she was yelling to call the children to come and eat the meal before it gets cold. And she was really hot and sweaty and upset because she's tired. She started yelling, come on, come down everybody, hurry up. And the Sultan said to his wazir, is she calling us? I don't know. And she was saying, come on, hurry up. And the Sultan said, I think she's calling us. How did she know that we are sitting here on the top of the roof? And he said, let's go down and find out. As soon as they stepped down, once their feet was on the ground, the whole building that they were standing on the roof of it fell down. And the Sultan said, oh my God, she saved my life. How did she know that the building is gonna fall down? And he rushed and shake her hand and say, thank you for saving my life. And the woman is just staring at him, doesn't know what he's talking about. And he said, the wazir said, come on, let's go. And they left. Omar didn't know what exactly happened. She sat down with the children and Abu Omar, and she ate their dinner. The Sultan went home thinking, this is real. She saved our life. She knew that the building is gonna fall down. Now tell me that this is not fortune telling. Tell me that it's just a coincidence. And the Wazir insisted, it is just a coincidence, Your Majesty. She didn't know. He was insisting that Abu Omar and Omar are fake. They're not real. But the Sultan is into the idea. He wants Abu Omar to save him, to find the 40 thieves. He said to his Wazir, let's give him another test, give him another chance. And the Wazir said, okay, we'll give him another chance, but this time I think of it. I'm gonna put something on my right hand, something on my left hand, and I will ask him to guess what is inside my left hand and my right hand. If he can guess it, then he is real. So the second day, the soldiers went to Abu Omar's house, knocked at the door, and they told him the Sultan wants to see you. His wife started crying and the children crying. They didn't know if the Sultan is gonna cut his head off or reward him. They don't know what's happening. Anyway, he went to the Sultan's house, shaking, and his Wazir was holding his hands like this, and he said, Abu Omar, if you are a magician and if you know the unknown, can you tell me what's in my right hand and what's in my left hand? Abu Omar said, ew. He was mumbling, saying that it's all his wife's fault. She is the one who suggested that he will work a job like this. And now he is in trouble. And the Sultan said, what are you saying, Abu Omar? We can't hear you. So he raised his voice a little bit by saying, Lola jarada ma waqa asfur, which means, if it wasn't for jarada, then Asfur won't be in trouble. And you know what's in the hand of the Wazir? In this hand, there's a jarada, and in this hand, there's Asfur. It's just a coincidence. And the Sultan said, he guessed it! How? How did he know? The Wazir opened his hand, and the jarada flew, and opened the other hand, and the Asfur flew. And then the Sultan said to his Wazir, do you believe him now? Later. We talk about it later, Your Majesty. Okay, Abu Omar, you can go to your home and be with your wife and children. So Abu Omar went back home saying, thank God I'm safe. The Wazir still insisting that Abu Omar is fake and he's just a con artist. And the Sultan wants Abu Omar to save him and find the 40 thieves. And they started arguing. Then the Sultan said, okay, we give him one more chance. But this time, Wazir, if he gets it right, I will give him the mission of finding the 40 thieves, whether you like it or not. And the Wazir said, okay. So the Wazir prepared 3 jars, 3 pots made of clay. And he put in the first one ghee, and in the second one honey, and in the third one mud. And he covered them really well, and they're all the same size, they look exactly the same, and no one can know what's inside them. And then he asked the soldiers to go to Abu Omar's house and bring him over. Do you think he will guess it right this time? Let's see how lucky he is. At the middle of the night, they knocked at Abu Omar's house. Knock, knock, knock. Abu Omar opened the door. The Sultan wants you right now. Ew, Abu Omar said, I'm in trouble again. So they took him to the Sultan's palace. And there, the 3 jars and the Wazir staring at him. Okay, Abu Omar, prove yourself. You have to guess what's inside these 3 jars. And Abu Omar put his hands on his head like this, and he said, I'm doomed. I'm in big trouble. What are you saying, Abu Omar? We can't hear you. Raise your voice. So Abu Omar was thinking about the whole journey of becoming a fortune teller, and how the first time his wife didn't even mean it. Come down, hurry up. And it worked, saved their life. And the second time, Jarada, which is his wife's name, and Asfur, which is his name, coincidentally worked. But this time, it is hard. So he was mumbling again. And the Sultan said, what are you saying? We want to hear you. Raise your voice. So Abu Omar said, the first time, it was as good as ghee. The second time, it was as good as honey. And the third time, it was mud over Abu Omar's head. Mud over Abu Omar's head. And the Sultan went, he guessed it. See? And the Wazir said, I'm giving up. I don't know how this happened. I have no explanation. I'm giving up. So the Sultan decided that Abu Omar is good for the mission. He said to Abu Omar, I want to give you a mission. I will give you 40 days and 40 nights to solve it. There are thieves. They've been terrorizing the town, stealing people's houses. And because my army couldn't even know who they are or how they do it, they sort of want to tell us who is stronger. And now they came to my palace and they stole my gold, the Sultan's gold. This is how powerful they became. And no one can know who they are. But you, Abu Omar, you are a good fortune teller. I am sure you will know who they are and you bring him to me. You have 40 days and 40 nights. After that period of time is finished, and if you didn't know who they are and you couldn't arrest them, I will cut your head off. And Abu Omar said, okay, my lord, whatever you say, my lord. And he went home, banging his head, saying, I'm gone. I'm gonna be dead. They're gonna cut my head off. It's all Jarada's fault. When he told his wife what happened, his wife started crying. You're gonna be alive with us for only 40 days? He said, yes. After 40 days, my head will be chopped off. The children were crying, and he wanted just to spend the 40 days with his wife and children. And he said to his wife, you know what, Omar? I can't even count. I don't know the 40 days, how they will gone, how much are they? And Omar said, don't worry, my dear husband. I will go to the backyard and collect 40 little tiny stones, put them in a jar next to your bed, and every night when you go to bed, you take one of these tiny stones and you throw it out of the window and you go to sleep. Every time you look at the jar, you will know how many days left you have. And he said, okay. So his wife did that, and she put 40 tiny stones in a jar next to his bed, and the window was behind his bed head. So every night he will go and throw one of the stones and say, here's one out of the 40. Now let's talk about the 40 thieves. The 40 thieves were so powerful. They were very successful in stealing. And they heard that the Sultan gave Abu Omar the magician the mission to find out who they are. They panicked And the gang leader decided to see who is Abu Omar. Is he real? Is he fake? Are they in trouble? Is he a threat? So he decided to send one of his men to Abu Omar's house at night to spy on them. So one of the thieves at night time went to Abu Omar's house. The window behind Abu Omar's bedhead. He would stay there, put his ear on the window and try to hear what they're saying and see what they're doing. And before you know it, Abu Omar walked inside the room, said good night to everybody, and he sat on his bed. Next to his bed was the jar with the 40 stones, and he grabbed the first one, so sad. That's the first one of the 40, and he threw it. And the stone came right at the head of the thief, and the thief went, what? He knew me, how? And he started running. He ran all the way back to his leader, and he said to the gang leader, he is real. He didn't even see me. I was behind the window, and he threw a stone at me, saying, here is the first one of the 40, so he knows me, you know who I am. And the leader said, that's rubbish. I don't think he knows you. It's just a coincidence. I will send another man tomorrow night and see. So the second night, same thing happened. Another thief of the 40 was behind the window, trying to hear and see. Abu Omar came into the room, laid on his bed, and he grabbed another stone from the jar and he threw it like this. And here's the second one of the 40s. And the thief said, and he started running all the way back to the leader. And he said to the leader, that's not a coincidence. This is the second time. And he knew me. And he said, this is the second one of the 40. And the leader said, I don't believe that. It's just another coincidence. But it happened twice. Doesn't matter. I am going by myself to see. Okay. So the third night, the leader himself decided to go to Abu Omar's house and see for himself. So he stood behind the window and put his ear like this and waited. And the same thing happened. Abu Omar came inside the room and he grabbed the stone. And this is the third one out of the 40. And it hit the leader's head. And the leader said, that can't be coincidence. It's real, I'm doomed. So he decided to knock on the door and turn himself in. He said, Abu Omar, I'm begging you, I will kiss your hands and feet. Please, take me to the Sultan and tell the Sultan to be merciful on me. Please tell him not to cut our heads off. Just put us in prison or find a tiny punishment. Please, the Sultan will listen to you, and this is our only chance to survive. Would you do that, Abu Omar? Abu Omar said, no. Yes, of course I'll do that. But I want you to call the rest of the gang, all the 40 thieves, and come with me to the Sultan's palace. And the leader said yes. So he called his men, and they all went to the Sultan's palace. And the first one was the leader. He went inside, on his knees, asking for mercy. The Sultan was so happy and so impressed. You did it, Abu Omar. You did it in 3 days. Abu Omar said, yes. So proud. And the Wazir was, So the Sultan listened to Abu Omar when he started talking about the 40 thieves and how they will never do it again and that they have children and please be merciful on them. And the Sultan said, okay, because of you, Abu Omar, I will make your wish my command. So I'm going to put them in jail for a while to teach them a lesson, and then I'll send them home. I'm not gonna cut their heads off. And then he looked at his wazir, and the wazir was saying, you still gonna believe in me? And the Sultan said, enough, you are fired. And the wazir said, what, you firing me? What are you gonna do without me? He said, every advice you gave me was wrong. I don't trust you anymore, so leave. And the wazir left the house crying. And then Abu Omar said, well, my job is done, so can I go home, Your Majesty? The Sultan said, no, you're not going anywhere, Abu Omar. From now on, you will stay by my side. I want you to be my wazir, and I will not do anything before I take your advice. So go home, bring your wife and children to live in the palace with me. And from now on, you are my wazir. Do you believe it? Abu Omar became wazir. He is a very lucky man. But it all happened because his wife gave him the right advice. Abu Omar and Omar and the children lived in the palace, happy ever after. The end. I hope you like the story, and it's time to say goodbye and good night.